Hi, my name is Jackie, and I agreed to do this interview to save other families the suffering that I put my family through. See, I'm a nurse. Well, I was a nurse until I died 7 months ago from an overdose. I left behind my friends, my family, and my children.
Jackie, thank you for being willing to share your story. And first, I want to say that I'm sorry for the pain that your family's going through, and also for our loss because we lost a really good colleague. The burning question on everyone's mind, if we can just get right to it, is how did you gain access to the narcotics?
Well, actually, it was pretty easy. You wouldn't think it would be that way, but our environment was an environment of trust, to the point that the nurses and myself often broke policy and procedure. And I was able to obtain vials and take them home. And I actually created a pretty decent stash. I kept it hidden from my family, though.
So I want to go back to something you said. You mentioned a break in policy and procedure. So what specific break in policy and procedure enabled you to get such a stash, as you said?
It's all in the witnessing. See, the nurses wouldn't watch me waste the drugs I was giving. I would even try to insist that somebody watch my waste, especially when I realized I was starting to have a problem. And they would say, "Oh, I trust you." Well, those are the three most dangerous words you can say in medication safety.
So you mentioned that you had a stash, and did you get that stash only from your work area? Where did you get enough to actually be able to refer to it as a stash?
Well, yeah, I'd get it from my work area. I'd be able to, like I said, when they didn't watch me real close, I could pocket vials. I could get vials out of needle boxes that were over full and the lid wouldn't shut right. I meandered around other units to see what was available, and there was stuff available sitting out. And I was even able to scoop up a half-filled vial of propofol out of a trash can.
Wow. So when you say you were able to, using your words, scoop up a vial of propofol, that means that you had to be working impaired. And if you were working impaired, the next burning question is, how did we miss it? I mean, what were the warning signs that obviously so many people missed?
Yeah, I can't believe that they missed them. The whole time that this was going on, I was pretty nervous that people would notice something was up. I started having shakes later on. I started wearing long sleeve shirts to hide my needle tracks. And when I, lost the veins in my arms, I started wearing turtlenecks because I would inject my neck. Um, and nobody even asked me if, why I was wearing a new turtleneck in July. I would also spend more time away from the unit. I'd take longer lunches sometimes than normal, and then towards the end, I would spend more time off the unit than on the unit.
And so at some point, and from everything I've read, everyone reaches that breaking point. And when did you reach your breaking point, or were you even aware that you were at that point?
Well, it's really hard to say because when you're using, you don't really realize the amount of drug you're using. You just know it takes more to get relief. Um, so one day, actually, I got to the point where I just had to have something, and I didn't have anything at work, and I knew that I had my stash at home. So I left work early. I made some excuse and got home before anybody was home and found my stash, got a bunch of vials out, and actually mixed a few in one syringe, and then I injected myself. And that's how my family found me.
Jackie, thank you for sharing your story. I'm going to wrap this up. I can see that you're getting emotional, and certainly I'm feeling some emotion here sitting to you speaking to me from a past life. And as I share your story, which I definitely will, what would be the main message or the points of the message that you would want to send to healthcare providers to prevent a future tragedy?
Well, there's three things. I understand that this is my responsibility. I made the choices I made. But the first thing is to follow policy and procedure when it comes to witnessing. If people had followed that waste witness policy, I wouldn't have been able to get the drugs that I needed, that I took home. The second thing is everyone needs to know what the signs of diversion and substance abuse are, so they can kind of be alert to it. We are in a world in the hospital of narcotic use, and everybody needs to know what those symptoms are. The third thing is, if you are worried about somebody, if you've got a feeling that something's not right, please inform the appropriate person. You just might save somebody's life.
Thank you, Jackie, for taking the time to share your story.